So if we have a picker view that's been loaded with some data, it's almost certain that what you're going to want to do is handle selection when somebody actually changes the current selected row of that picker view. You're going to do something about it. And we're going to see how here. Really, it's all down to implementing another delegate method. Now, there's a method that gets called automatically for a picker view when someone changes the value that they've selected there. This method is optional officially, meaning you don't have to do it, but it's part of the delegate protocol. Once again, if I wanted to see a reference to that, I could go to my header file where I could verify that yes, I was indeed implementing the delegate protocol here, UI picker view delegate. I could option double click it to go to the documentation and jump to that definition. And what it's telling me in the protocol reference is I have several different methods for setting the content of component rows and setting the dimensions of the picker view. But here we have one saying responding to row selection, and it's picker view : did select row : in component. Again, we could have multiple components here, so when they select a particular row, we need to say what component is that in. As you can see, it's marked with optional, but if we want to respond to that selection, this is the one we need. So if I click that link, it will take me to the full description of that method. I'm going to copy that because I certainly don't want to have to remember the definition of this method, the signature of it. I copy that and I go back into Xcode, and I'm going to go into my implementation file, my .m file for the view controller. Now, you could put this any way you want. I did have my other delegate method being declared here, which is the title for row for component method. And I'm going to paste this one in after. Just for our purposes, I'm going to spread it across a couple of different lines so we can see it properly. And then I'm going to give it the opening and closing curly braces because this is, of course, a method. So this returns void. It will accept 3 arguments: the picker view, the row, and the component. Really, all I'm particularly interested in is the row. I know what picker view it is. We've only got one. I know what component it is. We've only got one. But think about it this way. Let's say we did have an interface with 2 picker views on it. I might need to know which picker view it was. And if I do have 2 picker views and they both say that their delegate is the view controller, then this same method would be called for each picker view, and I'd have to know which one it was. Right now, of course, I don't have to care too much. What I am interested in is the row. So if you remember, we are just setting a few different moods. Our array of values has about 7 or 8 different items in it. So what I'm going to do is something fairly simple. What I'm going to do is create a new color object to hold a new color. I'm going to change the background color of our interface based on which item has been selected in the picker view. And rather than do a different one for every single color, I'm actually going to do a switch statement, which as I type SWIT, it's going to try and fill that in for me. That looks pretty good for what I want. So I'm going to hit Tab and jump over to expression. What am I actually looking at here? Well, I'm going to be looking at row, which is an integer. And then I'm going to jump down to what are the options that this will have. So I can say, in the case that this variable is 0, I'm going to set it to yellow. And I'm also going to say if it's 1 or 2, I'm going to set it to yellow as well, just to make things quick for my writing here. And I want to make sure that I'm using colons here, not semicolons. The option that I'm going to do is if this is true, then I'm going to set new color equal to UI color space yellow color, which is going to create an auto-released yellow color object for me. And then, yes, I want to break. Then I'll do another case 3 : case 4 : case 5 : new color equals UI color. We'll make a gray color there, GRAY color. And of course, break to make sure that we don't fall through. And then case 6, case 7 : case 8, new color equals, let's make this one darker where it's all the bad moods are, black color. And finally, what I might do is in default, if perhaps there's an option that comes along, I change the size of the array and something else happens. So I might say if that's not the case, I want to prompt it and I'm going to create a new color equals UI color red color. Now what I want to be very careful of is taking a look at my switch statement and make sure that I have a break statement in each of my different cases. I have one after case 0, case 1, case 2 at line 36, then at line 39. I'm missing one after my case 7, case 8. So I'm going to enter it in there, make sure I'm going to break, otherwise it could fall through and I get things I didn't want. But after the closing brace for the switch statement, but before the closing brace for the method, obviously, I'm now going to take that color and use it to set the background color of the interface, which right now really the best way to do it is, seeing as I'm in the view controller, I can use the term self, and then I can access the actual view object within it, and it should have a background color. Yes, it does, equals new color. I'm going to save that. I'm going to hit Command B to build this. Build has succeeded. And then I'm going to click Build and Go. And now I should be able to change this, but I should be responding to the different settings depending on what I get. Number 6 or 7 goes black, maudlin should go to gray, and ecstatic should go to yellow. So again, we're doing this by responding to the delegate method called pickerView : did select row : in component. In our case, all that we're interested in is the row because there's only one component, there's only one pickerView, but you could see how you could accept these parameters and actually start manipulating different things and responding to that selection.